Savage Dragon 20 from July of 1995. We've got a cool cover here with the dragon running at Overlord. You can see it in the reflection of his faceplate. It's pretty cool. And we got the credits with Josh Eckhorn as an important part of a nutritious breakfast. So recently, the Fiend has destroyed Dragon's apartment. So he's been couch surfing here with his fellow police, like Rita Metermaid back there in the shower. I assume she's getting ready for a visit to the chiropractor. So at that moment, there's a knock at the door. And it's Rapture, Dragon's very jealous girlfriend. So she insults Rita and makes her cry. That's pretty much the end of that scene. Meanwhile, there is an attack at the police department, and the Super Freaks are trying to kill Cyberface, who's in police custody. And so they're attacking all the officers, and Captain Stewart just gets incinerated. So, this shows again, like, Erik Larsen is not afraid to kill his characters in order to demonstrate the brutal consequences of extreme violence. So it's pretty shocking and effective. I like it. So Dragon and Rita and Alex they hear news of the attack at headquarters. So they show up and try to even up the odds. Even Rapture gets involved. She used to work there. And bam! Frank Darling is back on the force. Loaded for bear. He takes out a dude at close range with looks like a headshot. And finally, after the shooting is all done, looks like the cops regain control. But, not without some casualties. Looks like William Johnson down here is shot. We saw Captain Stewart get murdered. And so now this devastation basically convinces Frank and the Dragon that they have to move on Overlord immediately before any other attacks. And Cyberface here lays out all his weaknesses, basically, including that this guy is human. He has a metal suit, but it's a human being underneath that suit. So they are ready to go take out Overlord. Dragon and Chicago's finest here strap themselves up full of some crazy fucking guns. And they hop on a helicopter here. So this is like a funny conversation. These guys are arguing about Forrest Gump winning the Best Picture. It's kind of funny. There's it reminds me of like Tarantino kind of dialogue with you got tough guys sitting around talking about pop culture. Which is funny because they're pissed that the movie won Best Picture, and arguably Pulp Fiction should have been the one that won that year. So anyway, they rappel down to the penthouse hideout, and they're ready to take out Overlord. They got him right where they want him. So we will have to wait until next month to wrap that up. So on to the letters page. There's a lot of interest in the USA cartoon and the toy line. And so people are asking, how can a cartoon be based on this kind of book that's got so much, violence and sex in it and stuff. But, in hindsight, the show went 2 seasons, 26 episodes. They made 3 action figures. And there's a lot of speculation that goes on for the next few months about this thing. And it's it's kind of ridiculous to read in hindsight, but what else do we have here? Oh yeah, Joe Quesada submits a letter. He credits himself here as the artist of his self-published comic Ash, but in a few years, he'll be the editor of Marvel Knights. Then he becomes the editor-in-chief in the 2000s, and he keeps that job for a decade, and then he's the chief creative officer at Marvel by the end of the 2010s, or by the end of the 2000s, all the way up to a few years ago, I think. So, but back then, He's just another letters hack. I'm shaking this damn camera. Anyway, he compliments the cover, and he mentions what does he say here? Let's go back to page 12, panel 5 of issue 19. So I've got issue 19 here. Page 12, panel 5. He's talking about this one here with Rita and the other cops. He says, "What's up with that?" I guess Rita looks kind of nuts with her, but I mean, we've seen like her figure is crazy looking, so I don't know exactly what he's talking about. Some of these faces in the background aren't very well rendered. That guy back there. All right. Anyway, so another noteworthy item back here is a very lengthy exchange that Larson calls completely inappropriate. I don't know if the feud between Erik Larson and Peter David is legendary, but it took up a lot of space in Fanatics and other places. So never more than here, though. I'm not going to get into specifics because I don't have time or the interest. But so here's Peter David's letter. It runs from here to here. And then Erik Larson's reply starts here and goes on and on. All of this is Erik Larson's reply. And then finally, there's one more reply. There's one more response from Peter David right down here, this little part. So I don't know if they ever squashed the beef, but I don't think anybody's interested in reliving this, especially with like Peter David in bad health these days. So, I mean, this is insanity. This is like 5 pages of a reply and like 14 columns. That's a whole, I don't know how long that is word count wise, but that's a lot. So, with that said, on to issue 21, the end of the Overlord saga.